Today we're tackling something that hits home for pretty much any business owner, the real cost of handling cash, and why making a switch to digital might just be the smartest thing you do for your bottom line.
You've heard this a million times, right? Cash is king. I mean, it makes sense. It feels real. It's tangible. You hold it in your hand. For a lot of businesses, it seems like the perfect way to get paid because, hey, there are no transaction fees. It feels free.
But what if that feeling is totally wrong? What if cash, the thing that feels free, is actually a massive hidden expense? We're talking about something that could be quietly eating up anywhere from 4% to a jaw-dropping 15% of your total revenue. All of a sudden, that little 2% credit card fee doesn't seem so bad, does it?
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start by busting that cash is king myth. Then we'll dig into that hidden tax. After that, we'll talk about something called the frictionless spending advantage, show you how to actually make the switch, and finally, we'll unlock what our source material calls the data dividend, which is, frankly, a game changer.
Okay, let's jump right into our first section, busting the cash is king myth. The big idea here is that holding on to cash isn't just a little old-fashioned. It's a major strategic mistake that could be seriously holding your business back.
And this is really the heart of the problem. It's so easy to fixate on that obvious 2% fee you see on your statement. But while you're staring at that, you're completely missing the massive, invisible costs that come with handling actual physical money. It's a classic case of missing the forest for the trees.
Which leads us perfectly into our next point, the hidden tax on business. And I love the metaphor the source uses for this, the iceberg effect. You see the cash revenue, that's the tip of the iceberg, right there on the surface. But the real cost, the real danger, is the huge mass of ice hiding just below the water.
So let's look at what's actually hiding under the surface here. You've got the labor tax, all that time your staff spends counting out drawers and reconciling the numbers. You've got the bank run hours, which is just wasted time for a manager driving to and from the bank. And then there's the big one, opportunity cost. We're talking lost sales from slow lines or from customers who just don't carry cash anymore. But let's focus on that labor tax for a second, because the numbers here are pretty wild.
Get this. The source estimates that a business can lose up to 14 labor hours a week just from closing out cash registers. 14 hours. Think about that for a second. That's almost 2 full workdays every single week spent on one task, a task that digital payments make completely disappear. What could you or your team do with an extra 14 hours every week?
Okay, we've seen the hidden costs. We get it. Cash is expensive. So let's flip the script. Let's stop playing defense against costs and start playing offense to actively grow your revenue. Welcome to the frictionless spending advantage.
It really just starts with simple math. Look at the speed. A normal cash transaction, finding the bills, counting out the change, takes about 30 to 45 seconds. A quick tap with a card or phone, we're talking 10 to 15 seconds. Now that difference might not sound like a lot, but imagine your lunch rush. Imagine your busiest hour. Those seconds add up, and they literally let you serve more people faster. It multiplies your capacity to make money.
But the real magic, the really fascinating part, is all in the psychology. It's a concept called frictionless spending. See, when a customer has to physically pull a $20 bill out of their wallet and hand it over, they feel it. There's a little bit of pain there. But just tapping a card, the pain of paying is so much lower. And the result is absolutely huge. People spend more. Studies show that ticket sizes jump by 20%, sometimes by as much as 100% when customers pay digitally.
All right, so the case is pretty clear, right? Digital costs less and it helps you make more. But you're probably thinking, okay, how do I actually do this without ticking off all my customers who love paying with cash? Well, let's get practical. Let's talk about making the digital switch with a simple, soft transition. Now, the key here is that you don't ban cash. You just gently nudge people in a different direction. Here's a simple 3-step plan. Step 1 is the silent script. Before your cashier says a word, they just gesture to the card terminal. It's a simple physical cue that breaks the customer's habit. Step 2 is the assumptive close. Instead of asking, how will you be paying, they ask, will that be card or mobile? This frames digital as the normal default option. And for those times when someone wants to break a huge bill, you use step 3, the safety script. Let's say someone wants to pay for a $4 coffee with a $100 bill. Your cashier just says, I'm so sorry, for safety reasons, I'm running low on change right now. Do you happen to have a card or a smaller bill? It works like a charm.
Of course, when you go digital, you're trading a physical risk for a digital one. So you've got to be smart about security. As you can see, this boils down to a couple of really key habits. First, do a daily wiggle check on your payment terminals. Just give them a little tug to make sure no one's attached a card skimmer. And second, And this one is absolutely critical. You have to implement network segmentation. All that means is your guest Wi-Fi and your payment network need to be completely separate. It's a simple firewall that creates a huge security barrier.
And now for the last piece of the puzzle. And honestly, this might be the most powerful reason of all to make the switch. Let's talk about unlocking your data dividend. This is where we turn boring old transactions into incredibly valuable business intelligence.
So what in the world is a data dividend? Well, think of it this way. It's the gold mine of information you get with every single digital payment. A cash customer is basically a ghost. They come in, they buy something, they leave. You know nothing about them. But a digital customer, they leave a data trail. You can see how often they visit, what they buy, how much they spend, and most importantly, you know when they stop coming. You're turning anonymous strangers into actual customers that you can build a relationship with.
And this is how you put that data to work. The source gives a brilliant example of an automated win-back campaign. So, let's say your system notices a regular customer hasn't been in for 45 days. Boom! It automatically sends them a friendly, "Hey, we miss you" email. If there's no response after a week, boom! It follows up with a small coupon to tempt them back. This is like having a marketing team working for you around the clock, completely on autopilot.
So let's bring it all home. We started out with this idea that cash is free and that digital payments are a cost. But as we've walked through all this, it seems like the exact opposite is true. Cash is incredibly expensive, and digital more than pays for itself. So I'll just leave you with this final question to chew on. What if those digital fees aren't a cost at all? What if they're actually the single best investment you can make in your business's future?